After a long week off, the drivers of the Northwest iRacing Truck Series are set to return for round number 2 of the West Bay Napa Auto Parts playoffs in the quest for a championship from the round of 8. Tonight, it is road course racing. You can call it a wild card. You can call it whatever you want it to be. But it's Watkins Glen. We welcome you to coverage of round number 2 of the West Bay Napa Auto Parts 134 from the Glen. This is coverage presented by Swag and on LSR TV and CRN Sports for audio coverage at wearecrn.com. Good evening, wherever you are across the country. I am Wesley Outland. Joined alongside is Greg Rentz. On the pit lane tonight will be Brett Rolls. Charles Wooten is in the production chair. Greg, a week off. These drivers now prepare to turn left and right and go through S's and boots and chicanes and carousels and more here at the Glen.
This is the wild card of the first round here, Wesley. This is going to be a race that can make or break your playoffs. And one guy who you have to keep an eye on in this race, it's no concern to this driver because he's already locked in to the playoffs. Round of 8. We're talking about Sean Brightsman in the number 46. We say watch him because he has been the dominant driver on the road courses here in the Northwest Racing Series, not just in the trucks, but in the Cup side as well. Dominant in the road courses. In fact, all 3 truck races here in road course racing for the truck series, all 3 have gone to the 46 of Brightsman. He's third on the practice charts right now, though, behind 2 other playoff drivers, Dan West Jr. and Jeff Stabnow.
Here's a little history about Watkins Glen International. This circuit is known as the Mecca of North American road racing and is a very popular venue among fans and drivers. This facility is currently owned by International Speedway Corporation, and of course that version is on the iRacing simulator that you will witness here tonight. Initially, public roads in the village were used for the race course, but in 1956, a permanent race course circuit was created and built. 1968 was the first ever race extended to 6 hours at Watkins Glen, and NASCAR has been a part of that fold ever since then. Other events that compete at Watkins Glen include the World Sports Car Championship, the Trans Am, Can-Am, NASCAR, the International Motorsports Association, IMSA, and the NTT Data IndyCar Series have all competed a time or another at Watkins Glen. This race facility ready to go with, again, the 90, the S's, the backstretch, the inner loop that they call the bus stop, the outer loop, the carousel. And no, they will not race on the toe or the heel of the boot. Darn it, because I like the boot. Anyhow, what they will do, Greg, when they come out of the outer loop, they'll work their way down the straightaway into that final turn to the start-finish line.
No boot for you, Wesley. Here tonight in the Northwest Truck Series, second race of the West Bay Napa Auto Parts playoff. Sean Brightsman gambled yet again and paid off yet again last week at Atlanta for the win in the opening round of the playoffs. But there are a couple of drivers you do have to keep an eye on. Wesley, let's take a look at the current point standings. As you see, the drivers with 2,000 points and up are your playoff drivers here in the Northwest Truck Series. As you see right there, everyone from Brightsman to Stephen O'Hare, your playoff drivers, and this has potential to have a big change or a big swing in this one. And for one guy, it's going to be a very difficult task. Notice Stephen O'Hare, only 2,003 points, 3 wins on the season in the Truck Series, but he's mired in the back. He missed the playoff opener in Atlanta last week. He has to play catch up big time here in the 41.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Of course, is right now you look at Sean Brightsman leading the points with that win last week. It solidified him into the round of 8. He is the man at the top of the board right now, 148 points back to the leader, Dan West Jr. in second. Stephen Paulison in the 58 machine, 155 points back, 161 back to Corey Walters. John Ottenbacher in the top 5, 163 back, tied also with Brian Maines in 6th. Then you've also got a battle there with Devin West, as you mentioned, 7th. Dan Lowther, Jeff Stabnow, Tyler King, James Vining, and Stephen O'Hare in the 12th position, 195 points back to the leader. But the bottom line is this: if you win, you're in. Sean Brightsman proved that when we were at Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. He punched his ticket into the round of 8. He will advance to the next round. During tonight's qualifying, during the race itself, you will see on the West Bay Napa Auto Parts playoff scoring ticker, Greg Rentz, you'll see bright green signifying the driver Brightsman. And there you see it right there. He's in the playoffs. Everybody in the dark blue is in the other 11 spots in the top 12, trying to advance in the round of 8. But you got to get that green bold box after Watkins Glen tonight.
You want to get your name, like Brightsman does, with a green bar, because next week, Wesley, we're going to Richmond for round number 3 of the playoffs, a short track. Very, very vast difference here at Watkins Glen to where we're going next week at Richmond. Short track racing, that could also really affect the points structure, because if you get caught up in someone else's mess on a short track, if you're in the playoffs, that could spell disaster for you with just one more race in the round before that coming at Charlotte. So with that being said, if you can get yourself a green bar on that one, you're going to want to get that tonight, because with the second race complete, we're moving on to our third and fourth race. Suddenly we're going to have to start keeping our eye on who's beneath the playoff cutoff and who gets a red bar next to their name.
Let's bring in the third member of our broadcast team on LSR and CRN for our coverage of the Northwest iRacing Truck Series from Watkins Glen. He calls Watkins Glen International home from Newfane, New York. Now resides out of Columbia, Tennessee. Brett Rolls. Brett, welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me, Wesley. Yeah, as you mentioned, Watkins Glen, basically my backyard track, couple-hour drive from where I grew up, but always been my favorite road course event for across the board. It was pretty sad for me to see it go to the wayside this year in the NASCAR schedule with COVID and being replaced with the Daytona road course. But, hanging on to some Watkins Glen sim racing this year for hope. So I'm looking pretty forward to this. And just to add a little bit of pre-race heat to the mix here, I spoke to Sean Brightsman here right before his qualifying effort, and while they're doing all their drivers meeting stuff right now, and I asked him, with you being already locked into the playoffs, are you just gonna try to take a calm and just ride this one out and go into the next race? And he said no, he's going for broke. He's not gonna hold anything back. He's going for the win tonight, just like everybody else here, and he's looking to sweep this point series and get out of here with the championship locked up by the end of the playoffs.
And honestly, can you blame him, Greg? Thank you very much, Brett. We'll have words with him along the way. By the way, we are efforting that this race will probably go caution-free. 134 miles, 55 laps the distance here around Watkins Glen for the West Bay Napa Auto Parts. 134 here this evening. But again, Greg, I believe like what he just talked about, Sean Brightsman, we've seen the domination he done. We've seen the strategy. When we think he can't do anything more to surprise us to win a race, he's done it. And Sean Brightsman could be a character in the 46 truck that could dominate the rest of the races before the round of 8.
Well, first off, to finish up with the point, I will bet you my entire payout versus your entire payout, we do go caution-free here tonight. I'll bet you all the payout right now on this one that we do go caution-free. Following up with Brightsman, yeah, he has been so strong in just about every form of racing this season when it comes to both the cup cars and the trucks, that it goes without saying that he's going to be a threat to win every time, especially when he goes on strategy, or off strategy, I guess I could say, and really just throws a monkey wrench in everybody's plan. But he is the guy you got to watch on the road courses. He's won, again, all 3 truck races that have been on road course this year, going back to the Charlotte Roval back in the spring, going back to Canadian Tire when we went north of the border. He picked up that one turning right A, and then just a few weeks ago the Daytona road course popped up for the Northwest Truck Series, their first ever visit there. Brightsman picked up the win there too. 3 for 3 when it comes to the trucks. And again, Richmond, very strong strong track for Sean Brightsman. Charlotte, very strong track for Sean Brightsman. In the spring, it was down to between him and Jeff Stabnow for the win. Contact took him out of the mix, and Stabnow got the win in that one. Brightsman going to be going to Charlotte looking for some redemption after letting one get away from him there.
Possibly could. We are going to step away as the drivers' meeting will be wrapping up. Qualifying will be coming up on course here in just a moment. From Watkins Glen International, this is coverage of the Northwest iRacing Truck Series West Bay Napa Auto Parts Playoffs on LSR TV and CRN Sports. Back with qualifying when we return.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland of CRN Sports, one of the co-founders. I'm also one of the announcers on Live Sim Racing, LSR TV. We've recently partnered with LiveSimRacing.com to become the official radio partner of all of the esports events. What is CRN? Well, first off, we're going to be covering esports like it's never been done before with our MRN, PRN type radio atmosphere like you experience with NASCAR. In addition to that, we will cover the Northwest Trucking Cup Series, the Northwest Tour, and of course special events and sanctions like swag and special events like 6 Hours at Daytona and so much more. It's very simple to check out the racing action, whether on LSR TV, on Facebook and YouTube, or by listening. And that's how I want to help you real quickly. Go up simply to the website, wearecrn.com, wearecrn.com, click play, and you are set. It's that simple. We're excited to be the voice of live sim racing. We are CRN. Follow us at crn.com.
ETE Reman is the world's best remanufacturer of transmissions for import and domestic cars and trucks. Based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, our customers are repair shops, auto parts stores, dealerships, and distributors. And with 6 nationwide warehouses, we're where and when you need us. So when you're looking for a transmission that is like new, only better, instill confidence and install ETE Reman.
Welcome back. Rocking and rolling here at Watkins Glen. Well, the qualifying is now on course as well. Kicking it off, Stephen O'Hare, number 41. We'll see what he can do. Currently right now, the man at the last spot in the points. He has literally got to make something happen. He is the opening driver to qualify now, Greg.
Stephen O'Hare needs a big one because he missed, like we talked about in the pre-race there, missed the playoff opener in Atlanta. 3 wins on the season. To miss the start of the playoffs, that's big, especially, Wesley, that race was at Texas, or no, excuse me, that was Atlanta. O'Hare won the spring race at Texas. That's why I got confused there for a moment. So O'Hare had a truck capable of winning that race. Unfortunately, did not make it into the field that night. So he's looking for a bounce back here tonight at the Glen. Couple different surprises in the field tonight, Wesley, as they take the green flag in the 41 camp. I want to talk a little bit about the 37 of Caden Anderson, who is on track, making, I believe, only his 4th or 5th start in the truck series this year. We'll have to go back and take a look at the rundown, but Caden Anderson in the number 37, a winner on the Cup side in Vegas. Still looking for that first truck win as you see O'Hare complete his lap. But Caden Anderson, he is probably the favorite for a championship run in the Northwest Tour, which starts this Sunday. Caden Anderson, a lot of drivers who are going to race in that tour were pointing their fingers at him as being the guy to watch for a possible championship run. A lot of people think he could have won the championship last year if not for some outside issues that encountered Caden Anderson. So he's looking for some redemption. That starts this coming Sunday night.
Looking forward to that. I'll be your virtual Joe's Racing Products pit reporter, as I am one of the Joe's Racing Products pit reporters for the Snowball Derby in December at Pensacola Five Flags Speedway. And that's going to be a fun one for sure, coming up this Sunday from USA International. Right now, the 22 top of the board. Watching to see... Stephen O'Hare right now, the top of the board. Ryan Maines is in 2nd spot. Tom Green, Dan West Jr., and we're watching Stephen O'Hare make his second lap. And when we get a chance next time around, we are going to set up a lap around Watkins Glen with the drivers. And once we find a driver that's going to turn 1 or down the front straightaway, we'll grab them. And I'd like to try to give a description, if we can, about what this track is all about here at Watkins Glen. Here comes Caden Anderson, number 37 machine, working his way down what would be the straightaway into the bus stop. Getting on the binders, working his way through that corner.
Anderson, one of those guys who's big in the short track scene, only making a very limited amount of starts in the truck series this year. Saw him part-time in the Cup side as well. Win at Las Vegas. Has yet to get that truck win yet for him in the 37. Looking for it tonight at Watkins Glen. Curious to see how he can do on the road course, but a chance to get one more shot of him on LSR TV before we move into the Northwest Tour, in which again, he's going to be considered a favorite for that championship this season. He is the 11th driver to take time. He goes 6th on the first lap, Wesley.
Dan West Jr., Stephen Paulison now in second. Robert Gamble, Kevin Smith, Stephen O'Hare, the top 5. Caden Anderson, Chris White, Tom Green, Roy Grande, and Wayne Rick now in the top 10. To give you a description of this racetrack, obviously, when they cross the start-finish line, they will work their way into the turn number 1, and that will be what they call the 90, a 90-degree sharp turn into turn number 1. Then they'll work their way to turns 2, 3, and 4 in what is known as the S's. The S's will then lead to the back straightaway. The back stretch will then go to what is known as the inner loop, or what we call the bus stop. The bus stop will have rumble strips around it. If you overshoot the bus stop, you have to stop your car. If not, you will face, or truck. If not, you will face a penalty. Once they work their way through there, it's on to turns number 5, 6, and 7 into what they call the outer loop. The outer loop is where we'll turn to the carousel. The carousel normally introduces the laces, the toe, and the heel of what they call the boot. But the series does not use the boot. Tonight, they will stay on a straight course through the carousel, down into turns number 7 and 8, work their way around and back down to the start-finish line. That is a lap around Watkins Glen. And here comes Sean Breitzman, the man that is already moving in to the West Bay Napa Auto Parts Northwest iRacing Truck Series round of 8. And he's looking to try to win here tonight at the Glen Greg.
Breitzman in the number 46. Second on the board. Dan West Jr. on top of the charts. He led the series in wins in the regular season in the number 55. No surprise to see him having another strong run here. Breitzman there. Paulison just got knocked to third by Jeff Stabnow in the number 24. Remember, we're still in the month of October, so we're still seeing drivers with the pink cars. Fortunately for Stabnow, that was at the conclusion of his lap, so
that's good.
That will not affect his qualifying time, as that third quick time was turned on the second lap. But again, this is the final chance, Wesley, for these drivers to run the pink cars and trucks here in the Northwest Truck Series, because Breast Cancer Awareness Month coming to an end here in a couple days.
That's right. On Sunday will officially be the November 1st, and then we go to No Shave November. And also, in addition to that, here's another thing. In addition to that, and this is not a joke, this Sunday, 2 a.m., is daylight savings time.
Yeah, daylight savings time.
Set your clock back an hour before you go to bed.
Daylight savings time on Halloween. Well, technically the day after Halloween, but still Halloween night. Maybe that's what we need to have happen to kind of reset 2020 back to factory settings, and we'll kind of get some normality back. Maybe that's what needs to happen. We'll give it a shot here this weekend.
Thank you very much to Tom Freeman. Very appreciative of the comments. We encourage you all to communicate in the chat box. Give us your likes, comments, pleasures, concerns. And we appreciate, hope you enjoy the race. This qualifying is about to wrap up. Devin West trying to come out of the slump he was not at Atlanta last week, or 2 weeks ago, mind you. And we'll see what he can do in the LSR TV Pink number 5, as he's adorning pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October as well.
Devin West, 3 wins on the season in the number 5, so that is a very big stat for him moving forward, as I believe he missed the playoffs, Wesley, because of the fact that he missed a few races here and there. So he's going to just be going out and trying to get as many wins as he can in his number 5 LSR TV Chevy Silverado. 3 on the year, but nothing on the road course yet. Looking for it here tonight for the first time.
Any stories on the pit lane, Brett Rolls, as we prepare to end qualifying?
As of right now, it seems like a couple of the drivers having some issues with the bus stop and turn number 1, Wesley. It's going to be pretty interesting on this initial start to see if anybody's able to get woed down in time, or if we have some heavy contact right out the get-go to start this race. But a handful of drivers having a couple of times with the braking points here so far at Watkins Glen.
But finding those ways through the breaking points. And we've got quite a field of trucks here tonight, man. It looks like we've got about, what, 23, 24 trucks? We had 23 trucks tonight for the 24 trucks tonight for the truck race at Rockingham. More than that?
I got 26, Wesley. 26 entered here tonight.
Truck, yeah, and Kathy. Truck, yeah. By the way, technically it is midnight Eastern time. Registration is open for the Midget Nationals. Well, excuse me, we're not going towards Eastern time. We're going to Central time, LSR TV time. So in the next hour, registration will open for the LSRT coverage of the iRacing Power I National Midgets, December 11th and 12th. Registration in 59 minutes. Qualifying has concluded for the Northwest iRacing Truck Series. This field is set for the next round of the West Bay Napa Auto Parts playoffs. Lefters, riders, chicanes, carousels, bus stops, and more. And the starting lineup presented by ComServe Wireless. On the pole, Dan West Jr., 55 to the inside, to the outside. He's already won last week at Atlanta. Sean Brightsman on the outside in 46. Row number 2 is going to find Jeff Stabnow in 24. Bad luck at Atlanta. Got to turn things around tonight. And Stephen Paulison in 58. He'll start 4th.
Rounding out the top 5, a great qualifying effort for Robert Gamble in the number 54. A road course ringer of sorts, BJ Tidrick. A lot of time in official racing on the road course here in 2020. He will start 6th. Devin West starts in 7th, with Kevin Smith to his outside in the 8th.
Row number 5, top 10, Stephen O'Hare, 41. And Caden Anderson. He's out of the playoffs, but he wants to win races. He's in the 37. He'll start 10th. Row 6, starting 11th, Chris White in 83. To his outside, Wayne Rick in 69. He'll start 12th.
You're going to find Tom Green was one of those last drivers out of the playoffs in the number 77. And then Taco Bell, Roy Grande in the number 14, or position number 14 in the number 18. Playoff driver Dan Lowther in the number 63 will start 15th. Ryan Maines, another playoff driver, in 16th.
Row number 9, starting 17th, Corey Walters in the 9 to the outside. Carl Burke in 53. Row 10 to round out the top 20. It's going to be Ray Fournier in 26 and Tyler King in 44.
You'll find Scott Hutchinson in 20th. John Ottenbacher, we got to go green. We're standing start here in this one. Rest of the field, as you see him go by, Fletcher, Vining, Harris, Burke, and Hutchinson. Wesley, we're green.
A standing start as they work their way to what they call the 90. the 90-degree turn, and we already got trucks going around and Stab now at 24.
Playoff driver.
This is not the way you want to start the race in the first corner. But we are underway nonetheless.
So Stab now already having problems in the number 24. Playoff driver going to be down near the bottom of the split right now as West Jr. leading the way, trying to get that green banner next to his name, as well as Steve Paulison in that number, in that number 58. He's in second.
Trucks work their way around the corner, down into turn number 1 and 2. Now into 3 and 4 through the S's. Now through what they call the carousel. The carousel, now what would be around the introduction of the boot, but they're not running the boot. They'll stay on a straight line, and they're working their way back down the straightaway already off turn 8. 1 lap in, 55 to go. Dan West Jr., the man out in front, and we are racing here.
West Jr. with a big lead. That's what he needs to do. Just get out front. 1 down, 54 to go. But Wesley, it's a long way around here at Watkins Glen. And when we are green the whole way like we are, if you get yourself in a situation like Jeff Stab now, it could be a long fight back.
West, Paulison, Gamble, West, Tidrick in the top 5. They work their way back around the corner.
Dan West Jr. already up to a huge lead here, Wesley. That's the gap back to second to Stephen Paulison in number 58. Paulison has snuck in some good runs here, a couple podiums here this season, which is what led him into the playoffs here. Robert Gamble, how about this in third right now? Hasn't really had a whole lot of success in his starts in the Truck Series, but a nice start to this one, sitting in the 3rd spot.
By the way, again, we mentioned you've got until midnight. Go and get signed up at evenbright.com and put in the ePower iMidget Nationals and get signed up for that event. It's December 11th and 12th. They're only taking 120 entries. Now, I know that 120 entries sounds like a lot, but honestly, Greg, it's not, and it will fill up very quickly.
It will, Wesley. That's going to be a huge race. Oh, Dan Lowther, playoff driver involved. Ooh, boy, Jeff Stab now just barely squeaking through, as does John Ottenbacher. That's playoff driver. Dan Lowther, look out. Not yet. Now. Go for Dan Lowther. Oh, he knows it into the wall.
Nose in the wall.
That's not going to help either. Fortunately, he does have a fast repair in the bank for Northwest Thunder, but boy, not the start to Watkins Glen Dan Lowther wanted, and looks like he's going to have to fall back on Richmond and Atlanta from here on, providing nothing else crazy happens. But going back to what we were talking about, Wesley, yeah, 120 entries sounds like a lot, but when it comes to an event like this, not really. It's going to be one heck of a show to see who we all get here in the Power Eye virtual midget race coming up here in December.
And I'm understanding that possibly, well, not possibly, probably a certainty, that real racers will be signing up for that event.
I wonder,
well.
I'm not by any means saying this is happening. I'm just purely speculating and wishful thinking right now. I wonder, Wesley, if a certain guy who just signed with maybe a certain Powerhouse Cup team and a certain
Hendrick?
5 car, I'm wondering maybe if the defending Chili Bowl Nationals winner makes it, maybe a former winner of the Chili Bowl Nationals from California, he drove in the truck, a certain kid named Rico. You know, hey, purely speculation and wishful thinking right now, but hey, you never know what could happen, so we'll be keeping our eyes on that for sure.
Yeah. You know, it's awesome to see Kyle Larson come back to NASCAR. He'll be driving the return of the number 5 for Hendrick Motorsports, as that was unveiled on Tuesday afternoon. And in addition to that, in addition to that, I kind of wonder if we'll see Kyle Larson return back to the world of iRacing as well.
And
I believe that America's biggest thing in life is a comeback. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody's human. And the greatest comeback in America that people love is a comeback. And I believe that we have set ourselves up for Kyle Larson to make one big. In motorsports, we've seen it just in dirt racing for what he's done in wing cars, modified stock cars, late models. And I think he'll do it with now Hendrick in the 5. What do you think, GR?
I think it needs to happen. I think it needs to happen flat out. Needs to be a thing that we get a certain Larson back in the iRacing realms and get him back out there, because you know he's going to go out and just tear it up in everything like he does in real life. I mean, what is it, 40-plus wins this season on the dirt?
And by the way, Brett Rolls, I think you are going to be... well, I think we lost Brett. Brett's off rumbling down pit lane right now, grabbing stories.
Yep, Brett's down talking to someone. Hey, there he is.
Brett Rolls, I know you were just running down up and down pit road. What have you got for us? And I think I understand also you're going to try to sign up for the iRacing Power I Nationals as Ryan Maines goes around and gets punted. Sidebarred by Dan Lowther in 63. Here's your first swag replay of what happened. Ryan Maines, 13, Atari, unveiling how old he is by driving on a truck of that age. Got turned by Vining. And then here comes Dan Lowther in the 90-degree turn. Nowhere to go when he T-boned him. Hope you like it. Well done. I prefer medium rare.
I'm with you on that one.
He's okay. Brett Rolls again. You got some stories on pit lane so far in the early going of this race at the Glen, and I also understand you're going to try to attempt to sign up and register for the iRacing Power I Nationals in December.
Yeah, we're going to get registered here once the tickets go on sale here in about 50 minutes or so. So, yeah, we're definitely going to be in there. What I was actually down there in pit lane working with, I was actually ironically talking to the 63 of Dan Lowther about that incident that happened just a little bit ago before he had some more issues. He actually had to come down on pit road and use a fast repair and get some work done to that 63 machine. Driver seemed a little bit annoyed with having to come down and use a fast repair that fast, and having him come right back out and have some more heavy contact there in turn number 1. I definitely know he's not going to be too happy with that. So Dan Lowther not really having the night that he was hoping to have here in Watkins Glen, but pretty interesting to keep an eye on turn 1 as the rest of the night goes, Greg and Wesley, as it looks like most of the drivers are starting to have an issue down there. They've figured out the bus stop rather as far as more of a slow it down and let it roll technique from what they were doing in practice, but right now turn 1 is still throwing drivers through a loop.
Want to reiterate more on that, Greg?
So the road course, as we see another truck on pit road, I believe that's Frank Harris in the 11. The corner entry there on turn number 1 is just so difficult here. You can get so much wheel hop going in there, and that's what's happening with these guys. You have to shift on road course, something these drivers are not so much used to, except for like maybe when the truck's at Pocono, a couple different tracks you can do it on, but for the most part it's a road course thing, so these drivers aren't necessarily used to shifting, and if you mistime that shift going into the corners, it can cause you to have some trouble, can trigger some wheel hop, all kinds of weird stuff happens. So I think that's what's happening with these drivers right now in the early stages of this one. They're just kind of having problems breaking those old habits and getting back into the habit of the road course with the shifting here, which is why I think this is going to favor a guy like Tidrick in that number 72 you're watching right now, who's done so much road course racing here on the iRacing server throughout 2020. I think this is going to pull into his wheelhouse. There's one truck coming down pit road, I believe that was Breitzman in the number 46, the 3-time road course winner this season. He's coming down pit road.
Brett Rolls, down to you.
Yeah, it looks like drivers are starting to come in, possibly getting some adjustments made to their trucks and or some damage assessed from some heavy contact that was going on out in the track. Not really looking to see like maybe too much as far as fuel and pit strategy. Wouldn't be out of the question as well. You got several drivers down here right now. The 55 of West just came down. He was your current race leader. So guys throughout the field, whether it's the front, the middle, or the back guys, we got a whole bunch of different strategies playing out here at Watkins Glen, and I'm expecting a pretty good and wild close finish here towards the end of this 55 lap race.
And already ticking off the laps very, very quickly. And as again, no doubt about it, this race will go caution free here for 55 laps. The distance already on lap number 9 this time by us. Watch these drivers work around way as Frank Harris in the 11 truck settling up there behind him.
I'm sorry. I started laughing because our producer just tried to trick Wesley and say, "Hey, we got a caution." And
you notice I never faulted.
He did not take the bait. Nice job. Nice job.
It's my job. Ah. Anyhow, Dan West Jr., Stephen Paulison, Robert Gamble, B.J. Tidrick, Devin West, Caden Anderson, Stephen O'Hare, Chris White, Wayne Rick, Tyler King right now in the top 10.
All the way back to Kevin Smith in the 00 in the 11th spot here in this one. Working lap number 10 of 55 here. And speaking of 55, it's still Dan West Jr. in the number 55 out front. Gamble third, trying to track down Paulison for the second spot. Tidrick is now 4th. Devin West in 5th. Caden Anderson qualified 10th. He's up to 6th. So right now we're starting to see guys find their rhythm and just try to get settled in. Long way to go. And I'm wondering, we've already seen a couple trucks duck down pit road. Wondering how long until we see the leaders come down.
Gotta wonder when they're going to make pit stops. Brett, rolls back down to you. When were they saying that they were thinking of pitting? Are they going to try to make it a 2-stop race and pit before halfway and then go to the finish?
Yeah, just from what I've been hearing and what I've been seeing so far as race activity's been going, it looks like the couple of drivers that you saw coming down on pit lane were actually doing what we like to think of as a reverse short stop. They were getting that short stop out of the way in the beginning of the race, pushing real hard to get as far out as possible, using up as much rubber as possible on these trucks. As you got some other drivers possibly looking to come down here within the near future. Like I said, it's going to be a matter of race strategy. 55 laps around here. It's going to throw a little bit of a curveball. I believe most drivers are going to possibly try to two-stop this race. Some drivers also going to possibly try to one-stop the race as well. It's going to be just a matter of pit strategy and what the drivers are looking for and how long they think they can push their vehicles.
So West is the man out in front, still leading in that 55. Watching these trucks working their way off the corner. There is the pink 55. Dan West Jr., Paulison, Robert Gamble. Got a good run going for him, Greg. Honestly, I think Gamble is in a position to have probably one of the best finishes he's had in the truck in 54 this season so far.
I'm going to have to go take a peek at some of his stats here, Wesley. I'm wondering if Gamble is primarily a road course driver here on the iRacing server, because he's doing a phenomenal job. As a matter of fact, I think when we go side by side here in a little bit, I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to look at the stats of Robert Gamble and see if I can't figure out if this is what he primarily does, because he's doing a spectacular job here.
Robert Gamble right now on the course, currently in 3rd. He is 29th in the point standings. No top 5s, 2 top 10s in 6 starts on this series for Robert Gamble right now in truck 54, Greg.
So very limited starts, but ever since he debuted in the series, he has not missed a race, whether truck or cup. He's been there twice a week, every week. So he is definitely making a name for himself here in the Truck Series, and hopefully we get him full time next year in the Truck Series, and well, maybe Cup, maybe go back to the Xfinity. We haven't heard yet of what the plan is. I would assume we're going to stick with the Cup cars, but you never know. You never know. Heck, who knows? Maybe we can talk him into running all three if they really want their work cut out. What about the ARCA cars
on the All-Star race the other night? Weren't they?
Yeah, that was fun. I think a Northwest ARCA series fun. Paging Mr. Brightsman and Mr. Stab now. Possibly, maybe some winter fun, winter heat, maybe. Well, I don't know. Speaking of winter heat, that's coming up here shortly. I think Brett's going to be competing in that. I'm going to try my hand at a few street stock races in there for the Ryko Winter Heat coming up here in a few weeks on LSR TV. Wesley, more on that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Speaking of updates, let's go back to Pit Road and Brett Rolls.
Yeah, Wesley, Greg, I've got a little bit of playoff driver drama here for you. The 63 of Lowther that I talked to earlier, you saw him just as I was coming back, there was a little bit of contact, and then he unfortunately got into it. He is currently sitting down on pit lane with a significant amount of damage. So as of right now, it seems to be that the 63 of Lowther is currently out of this race as he is getting a whole bunch of work done on the front end of that 63 machine.
Can tell you he's probably very upset. Yeah, I can tell you he's probably very, very upset in that number 63 right now.
And I'm the one that would go down there if I was on the pit lane and say, hey, Dan, what's going on? What happened? How badly damaged is your truck? Do you want an interview?
Answer would be probably no. I had to guess. Or else
it's all about the way
you might see a new,
you know.
It might be a new demonetization. We might learn a couple new words. Trust me, that's my teammate.
West, Bollison, Gamble, West, and Anderson. Let's take a look at your saw blade top 5. We're 15 laps in here at Watkins Glen. Go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Coverage. Truck, yeah. Watkins Glen, yeah. The playoffs, yeah. LSR TV and CRN, yeah, when we return.
I want to show you what we can do. It's like a newborn puppy. Like, I want to show you how cute we are. Come see us. Come see what we can do. You'll be amazed. My name is Kim Connolly-Wilner. I worked for Studio for almost 4 years. I project engineer, creative direction, graphic designer. Outside of Studio, I like to paint, knit, crochet. My favorite thing about working for Studio is the ability to be around like-minded people, and the work is cool. When I was first told about Studio, it was the wood shop, the metal shop, and how they can take nothing and build it. That's what I've been around my whole life, so to have the opportunity to actually work here is pretty amazing. When I came onto Studio, Tom was sort of this unicorn. So you'd hear his voice, or you'd catch a glimpse of him, you just naturally wanted to be around him. His big smile. I loved to go into his office and kind of poke at him, see what he was working on, have him talk to me about past projects. I wanted to learn what he knew. This is his legacy, everything. You feel him every day. When you sit down and you're starting a new project, it really is something in the back of your mind, like, would Tom like this? Would he think this is cool? You know, he was kind of a mentor to a lot of people, so you don't want to disappoint even though he's not around us anymore.
Look at the saw blade top 5 back at the Glen real quickly. Let's go down to pit road, and Brett Rolls is caught up with Dan Lowther.
Yeah, Dan Lowther not really having the open, warm welcome of Watkins Glen here in the playoffs. Dan, you had some early issues going on there. You had to come down on pit road and use your fast repair. Now you're sitting down on pit road after some heavy contact. Is it looking like that 63 is going to be able to make it out again towards the end of this race?
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I don't think I'm really going to be able to gain much at this point, and I'm not a good road racer, so I don't want to go out and jeopardize somebody else's race just to maybe pick up a point or two. I knew this was going to kind of be my throwaway for the playoffs, so hopefully the next 2 rounds I can do well enough to move on to the round 8.
Now going into next week with the short course racing, is with having the struggles here at Watkins Glen, does that make that a winner? Basically a make or break kind of race for you?
Not yet. I mean, close. It depends on how it shakes out here tonight with the rest of the guys in the playoffs. I think I was in 8th going into the night, so I think if I can run inside the top 5, top 10 area, I'll still have a chance at the last race to punch my ticket to the next round.
All right, Wesley, Greg, that's all I got down here on pit road as of right now.
All right, thank you very much. And a tough break there for Dan Lowther for sure, man. He's just one of those guys that highest of highs and the lowest of lows. We have witnessed that, honestly, Greg, in what happened with him at Talladega when he had to win that race to make the Cup Series playoffs. And a tough break for him tonight.
Yeah, still the only win for Northwest Thunder in the Truck Series or the Cup Series for that matter. The Northwest Racing Series as a whole, that was our first win for our team there. That was definitely a big moment for him, but as Dan West Jr., the big slide in turn number 1. Unfortunately, like you said, lowest of lows here. But hey, speaking of highest of high, Wesley, we just earlier today had a big deal announced for Thanksgiving, and this one's going to be pretty special for you because this is at the track that your broadcasting career all started.
Yes, Southern National Motorsports Park announced this morning that even after doing all that they could this season to try to have some type of normalcy to have the Thanksgiving Classic, it's just not in the cards, and they have canceled the real Thanksgiving Classic at Southern National. Well, Swag, LSR TV, CRN Sports, and the American iRacing League quickly jumped on the whip. It's good to know people, as they say, virtual or reality. We contacted Michael Diaz. We reached out to the appropriate people, and we will be having on the week of Thanksgiving, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Make sure I give you the correct dates. November the 23rd, 24th, and 25th, the inaugural Thanksgiving E-Classic. And it will feature racing in not just the late model stocks, but obviously a brand of everything, because normally that race does offer different genres of racing throughout the weekend. Monday includes street stocks and legends. Only $10 to enter each division. Tuesday will feature the limited late models and the modifieds. Only $10 to enter. And then Wednesday, super late models and late model stocks, $20 to enter. That is the Thanksgiving All-Star E-Classic on iRacing. Coverage live in November 23rd to the 25th on LSR TV and CRN Sports. And by the way, we are still a half hour away for you to get signed up for another event, the iRacing Power I Midget Nationals. Cars are on the pit lane, or trucks are on the pit lane. Let's go down to Brett Rose for pit stops.
Yeah, down here I have Kevin Smith and BJ Tidrick currently on pit lane. We already saw the 24 Stabnow come down just a little bit prior while you were talking, Wesley. So it looks like we got some green flag pit stops starting to take way. I'll let you know more as more trucks come down here so far. But so far right now, just those top 3 competitors, or just those 3 competitors have come down. Not really seeing too many other people coming down as of right now.
And honestly, Greg, more drivers will, I believe, be making those pit stops, because I think they're going to have to try to separate it around a 2-tire stop in this event so far tonight.
Well, Wesley, here's the thing. We are about 7-8 laps from halfway. So we talked about it in the pre-race. Brett mentioned it. You may see 1 or 2 guys try the one-stop strategy. We're about 7 laps away from that window. So I'm wondering if these guys like West and Paulison and those guys who have yet to pit, wondering if that's what they're thinking. Maybe they're going to try these one-stop strategy if they can make it work for 7 more laps. That's asking an awful lot, though. Brett, you're the Watkins Glen guy. What do you think on this one as far as the one-stop strategy goes? You think it's doable?
It's definitely doable. It takes a really patient driver to be able to do that. And currently, as I'm talking to you guys right now, Ray Foreigner came in from position number 20 with his Ford F-150 truck out here. It looks like he's going to take 4 tires and fuel. So Ray Foreigner coming in to make his stop on lap 20. It looks like he's going to try to do the 2-stop effect here rather than a 1-stop race like the leaders that we have right now are currently looking to go on. But the 2-stop versus the 1-stop, with the road courses, you have to take into effect, you're wearing down the right side tires, just as evenly as the left sides. I mean, usually compared to what these drivers are used to, you see the right sides wear a lot more than the left sides do, just based off of it being circle track racing. But, when you start throwing right-hand corners into this game, those left side tires start taking effect too. So if you're going to try to make a one-stop shop kind of race strategy, I think the best driver that would probably be making an effort to do that right now would be the 46 of Sean Brightsman. He's looking pretty good so far, as he's only sitting in the 7th position right now. But that number 46, we've seen it time and time again. He's definitely not afraid to throw caution at the wind and try to pull a rabbit out of his hat, guys.
Thank you for that update there. The pit lane. Brett rolls as we watch Paulison working his way. He's in that 2nd spot. West, Paulison, Gamble, Anderson, and West. No change in the top 5. And right now, the man that is locked in the round of 8 to the next round, here in the round of 12, round 2 here at Watkins Glen, is Brightsman, the 46. He currently is in 7th position. And there he is off the turn there, working his way up through the S's, down the straightaway, and coming towards the bus stop there, Greg.
So we are going to see what Brightsman can do. I believe he's already been on pit road in that number 46, Wesley, so no big gamble from him. One car or truck officially out of the race right now. It's Frank Harris in the number 11. Saw him on pit road earlier in the week, or earlier in the night, excuse me. Earlier in the night, he came down pit road and just has struggled since then. So now he's on pit road out of the race. Dan Lowther also on pit road still, but he said he's probably just going to sit in here and watch the remainder of this race from the safety of pit road as we continue to await the top 3 and 4 to come down pit road. By the way, checked in on Robert Gamble. He does hold an A license in road course, which is the highest rating you can get in the iRacing server. So Robert Gamble does have quite the extensive thing on road course, does have a win on road course in official racing, but from the looks of it, most of his hosted time is spent on road course. So this is definitely falling into his wheelhouse.
Nice looking truck right there as they work their way around the racetrack. That is Gamble behind him right there, truck 54. Was you able to find out any stats more on Robert Gamble besides 2 top 10 finishes so far in the 6 starts, making his 7th this evening in the trucks?
Well, in his official racing, he has 1 win on the road course, but a Class A license, which means he's very smooth, very consistent. That road course win came at the Gateway road course from the looks of it, if I'm seeing that correctly, in an IndyCar. Didn't realize they had one there, but he does have a win there. So he does have wins in IndyCar in considered road course, so he does have that. But other than that, not a whole lot of stats on Robert Gamble in the 54.
Straight away, working their way to the bus stop. And, Greg, we have seen several times as we watch Paulison and Gamble, 2nd and 3rd, work their way through the bus stop. If you miss that bus stop, the outer loop, the inner loop as they call it, it can cost you dearly, because if you do not quickly and efficiently get through it, you will have to stop your truck and you lose valuable time. If you decide not to stop, you suffer an EOL penalty.
That is what can make or break your race, is these penalties here at the road course, Wesley. It can be so costly if you hit it, or if you just have an off-road excursion like Dan Lowther did earlier, it can really put you behind the wall. Speaking of off-road excursion, remember Jeff Stabnow had one at the start of the race. He is back up in the 11th position right now in the number 24 with damage on the back, but he has recovered to the 11th spot as we close in on halfway in the number 24.
Back around. Paulison. What a good run he's got going for him in truck number 58. What do you think?
Great run for Paulison.
Trucks are on the pit lane. It looks like Stephen O'Hare and more coming in front of you, Brett Rolls.
Yeah, Stephen O'Hare going to come in and get some 4 tires and some fuel for him as well. We got a couple of other trucks as well coming down. Looks like Stephen O'Hare going to start making his exit to back to the race surface, and now it looks like your race leader, the 55 of Dan West Jr., down on coming to pit road. No, he's going to opt to not come down this time. I'm going to find out who just came down on pit road, and I'll be right back with you here in just a little bit, Wesley.
Thank you very much for that update. More trucks are on the pit lane as well. And one of the unique things about pit stops here at the Glen, Greg, they have to pit from the right side to the left side, not the left to right.
I believe that's the only track this series visits that is the case, Wesley. I can't remember what the situation was at Canadian Tire, but yeah, left sides go on first, then the right sides go. So this is a very unique pit road as well. That can also throw drivers in for a loop because they're so used to left side drops, go, go, go. Not the case here.
And they're also going counterclockwise around the speedway, not going in a normal circular rotation, as you would call it. Our producer says it's abnormal for him.
You see lap traffic going a lap down. There's Ottenbacher, the bright pink LSR TV 89. He's a playoff driver as well. Corey Walters, the Napa 9. Hey, that paint scheme, Napa 9. That paint scheme's won the road course race or two in the last few years.
So we have just passed halfway a few laps ago in the next round number 2 in the round of 12 for the Napa. For the West Bay Napa Auto Parts playoffs for the Northwest iRacing Truck Series. Don't forget, the Cup boys are back in action after the final race before the playoffs for the Ezra Pro Series. That'll be at Richmond this upcoming Monday night, November 2nd. And in addition to that, at 11:15 Eastern Time, it'll be Justin Prince, Greg Rentz, and I'll be on the pit lane like Brett is tonight for the trucks for the Cup Series, and that'll be round number 2, and that will be from Watkins Glen right here for their coverage of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series playoffs. Real quickly, back down to pit lane and Brett Rolls.
Yes, Wesley. It looks like the truck that came onto pit lane that I didn't get the number of was actually the 91 of Scott Hutchinson. That driver is actually taking his truck behind the wall. He is actually going to pack it up and call it a night here. So not sure exactly what was the issue. I tried to get a word with him, but he wasn't in the any of the driver channels here for me to be able to track him down. So kind of a mystery as to what happened with the 91 machine, as he looked to have a pretty clean ride, just not able to find out what happened to him.
Thank you for that update. Tough break on the 91. Understanding something happened with him on the 91 on pit road of Hutchinson. He is still in the pits as we speak, by the way.
By the way, Wesley, we are past halfway now. We are coming to complete lap number 28. So, Dan West Jr., Stephen Paulson, Robert Gamble, and Caden Anderson, I believe Devin West falls in this category as well. They have successfully made it the one-stop window. And look at that. Paulson and Gamble both on both second and third, ducking right in the pit road as soon as they did. Brett, they're coming to you for, I believe, their one pit stop.
Yeah, I've got both of them within sight. It's going to be kind of interesting as they're coming down now is Dan West Jr. He's already come down for his pit stop, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see, just how, I'm pretty sure that was Dan West Jr. that I saw. It may have been the 46 of Brightsman, not too sure. Their pit stops are almost identical.
Whoa!
Oh, as one of the drivers has a little bit of an issue. Gamble overshoots his pit stall. He's also got Devin West in the 5 now coming down on pit lane, along with Caden Anderson. So we got multiple drivers coming down on pit lane right now, Wesley.
Multiple trucks, and Gamble having that slip. You see him exiting off the pit lane now. And by the way, it's going to be Dan West Jr. coming back out as the leader. In the 55, Sean Brightsman right behind him. And that was your front row for the race when they started. Almost 30 laps ago. Gonna go side by side. Look at your saw blade top 5 as we are after halfway. Back with more coverage from Watkins Glen International. The West Bay Napa Auto Parts Playoff for the Northwest iRacing Truck Series from the Glen when we return on LSR TV and CRN Sports.
We're based out of West Monroe, Louisiana. We do custom T-shirts, racing. We'll do any shirt. We'll do schools, churches, fundraisers. We do a ton of event shirts, as you can see on our board here, all around our banner. Personalized. I mean, we'll do anything. It doesn't matter to us. We got the custom rugs. We use all the, top quality shirts, inks and everything, hoodies, hats. We do embroidered hats, embroidered shirts. Just you can call us for anything. We do offer the bag and fold to where we, you can receive them and they're already labeled and tagged and bagged, ready to give out to your customer and stuff. So you just call us and just tell us, hey, this is what we're looking at doing, and if we're going to put the car on there, it is 125 quantity minimum. If it's without the car, it's 60 quantity minimum. That's strictly on the racing stuff. If it's a business or something, if you race on Texas shirts, it's a little bit differently. You can call us. It just depends on your quantity and ink colors. Everything is hand drawn. I mean, everything. We don't Photoshop anything onto a shirt or anything like that. Everything that we go through, everything is drawn, and which is the reason for the art fees. We do have several graphic artists that draw for us, and they're really good. So what we do is on any package that you do, we can mix and match. We can do any colors. You can do purple, red, blue, green, and do the rest black. It doesn't matter to us. With your design on there, we can do hoodies. We can do hoodies, long sleeve shirts, t-shirts, tank tops. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's almost limitless what you can do, and you can put all that together in that package to make that minimum requirements. They can call us 318-278-7191, or they can email us at bulletprooftees@yahoo.com, or they can go to the website bulletprooftees.com.
Look at the sawblade.com top 5, and Dan West Jr. and Fletcher on pit lane. Back down to Brett.
Yeah, William Fletcher came down for his 4 tires and fuel. Dan West Jr. going to follow suit in that 55. He's going to hand the lead over. Looks like the 55 going to attempt to possibly take this as a one-stop race as well. I'm not sure if the 46 of Brightsman has come down to the pit lane or not, but it looks like, I believe he did come down early in the race to possibly make a run at a 2-stop with a long stretch at the end. So going to be an interesting strategy, and I definitely want to keep an eye out on the 46 and the 55 towards the end of this race, especially if their pit road strategies play out like they're hoping.
Current stint, 44 laps. Or 23, my apologies. Couldn't see very well. 23 laps for the driver.
Your glasses on?
I do have my glasses on. It's just my broadcast screen is a little, miscombobulated.
A little glitchy.
It is storming where I'm at. Yeah, we got the remnants of Hurricane Zeta. Dan West Jr. has on his stint 2 laps now, as he has pitted once. And Brett Roll says, I know this is not a dirt track, you can see. Thank you, Brett.
Can you imagine a dirt road course? Like, not a rallycross, but like, just imagine Watkins Glen like this, but dirt. Can you imagine that? It's not called motocross, Mr. Producer, because motocross has jumps. Do you see any jump? No, I'm going to fight him on this. He's saying that's still a road course. No, do you see any jumps on this particular road course as we see it right now? Okay, valid point. It does depend on if they're.
Tell our producer to eat his sunflower seeds, okay? He's probably still got the whole bag from earlier.
That's taco wings. Yes, we argue with our producer on air because he tries to get us to break and laugh, break focus, and sometimes it works.
Yep. But not right now. Blame it on the producer. And you can't hear him. If only you could.
Yeah, that's the problem with when he does this is we respond to him, but the great LSR TV fans can't hear him. They just hear us, so we get the whole old man yelling at cloud thing. Yeah, they get the old man yells at cloud feeling when they listen to us talk. Boy, did you see the save that Devin West just made there, Wesley?
Yeah, wow. Holy cow, what a save there. Holds it together. So Brightsman trying to do, Brett Rolls, what you said he wanted to try to do, and that is sweep the round of 12 and race 2 of the playoffs after winning at Atlanta.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to talk to Brightsman yet, but the last time he pit was on lap 8, and I do believe that was possibly just to get a little bit of damage repaired from an early race contact. So it looks like Sean Brightsman currently got his hands full as the last time coming through the final corner down the front straightaway. He was almost like a dirt track out here. He was drifting that truck around that corner, and he has that 46 just hauling the mail out here right now, Wesley. Not sure when he's going to be making his next efforts to come down pit lane. If I take a look around the live timing and scoring, it looks like everybody's going about 28 to 29 laps on a pit cycle. So I'd be expecting him to come down here within the next maybe 2 to 3 laps for Brightsman. So that should hand the lead off to Dan West Jr. again, as Brightsman should be having to pit here soon.
Interesting. As right now, Brightsman and West, the class of the field, the pick of the litters so far. Doing well. Paulison in third. Gamble, Stabnow. How about Jeff Stabnow, Greg, redeeming himself after his hiccup on the start of the 90-degree turn on the opening lap? He is currently in the top 5.
Fight back into the top 5 after that happened early in the race. That's impressive, Wesley, with the pit stop thrown in the mix as well. He's battling with Caden Anderson right now in the number 37. Anderson, of course, we talked about it. He's going to be one of the favorites for the Northwest Tour Championship this year for season number 4. Jeff Stabnow, we're hearing rumors. Oh, Gamble off track in front into number 54, and Anderson has to check up there. Hearing rumors real quick that Stabnow may make a couple appearances in the Northwest Tour this year. I know Dan West Jr. might be making an appearance this Sunday in the season opener at USA, but Anderson, the favorite for that championship, he just got a 2-for-1 getting both Stabnow and Gamble there, as Gamble trying to get back up to speed here.
Gamble having that slip also in the pit lane and still keeping himself in the top 5. Just got around Stabnow for that spot. Here they come, single file down the straightaway. Closing in on 20 to go in this race. Thank you, producer. Si, senor. Ole! Speaking of Ole, let's check on Roy Grande and see how our Taco Bell man's doing tonight. Truck 18. 1 lap down in the 21st position. Taco Bell wings for Charles tonight. Liv Moss on the Liv sunflower seeds. Oh, it's coming unglued. Next thing you know, we're going to be talking about food for Thanksgiving. Let's go down to pit road to Brett.
Sean Brightsman actually just came down this past time and got 4 tires and fuel, and he came back out onto the track currently in the 3rd position. So Sean Brightsman's sitting pretty, as I believe Dan West Jr. should have to come down pit lane one more time, Wesley. Brightsman should be able to go the distance from here on fuel and tires, so it should be a very close distance between the two. But Brightsman is driving the wheels off of this thing as he has continued to drift this truck around the track. Also, I managed to talk to the number 13, another playoff driver of Ryan Maines, who's struggling towards the back of the pack. He's currently running 19th on the board right now and a lap down. I asked him, if he was just, having a one-off race and, looking forward to going to the, next week to the short courses. And, he said, here's just, this is foreign territory to me. All I'm trying to do is just survive and hang on. So it looks like Maine's just trying to pick up positions where he can and try to stay as clean as possible and save his grace for a playoff efforts.
Thank you for that update. As West, the man out in front now. Paulison, and honestly, Greg, when Brightsman pitted, we know he can go to the finish now with under 18 remaining at the stripe. Brightsman only in 6th.
Yeah, he's done a nice job recovering after pitting from pit road. And Wesley, we've talked about it quite a few times here tonight. Brightsman, undefeated in the road course in the trucks this season, already has the win, can get himself a stranglehold on the field. One truck on pit road right now. Who was that coming down pit road? That's Stabnow, the 24, coming down for his final pit stop, Brett.
Jeff Stabnow on the pit lane in the 24. Yeah, go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, Jeff Stabnow, he's down here on pit lane right now. He's currently on the 2nd pit lane, so he's got just a little bit of gap here. He came down in the 8th position. It looks like he's going to get 2 left side tires. The crew moving around to the other side, they're going to get the right side jacked up as well. So Jeff Stabnow taking 4 tires. He will be able to go the distance from this point, possibly maybe looking for a little bit of fuel strategy here.
So Stabnow off of the pit lane. Let's see where he ended up in the pit cycle, all the way down to 11th. That's not bad.
Stabnow making his way through the bus stop right now in the 24. All in all, nice recovery with the freshest tires on the racetrack, Wesley. That's going to definitely help him here late in the going, especially with some of these drivers who are on the 2 or 1 stop strategy. They've kind of made their bed. They've got what they got now.
By the way, we are approaching midnight on Central Time for LSR TV. You can get signed up in 8 minutes for the inaugural iRacing Power I Nationals, December 11th and 12th, taking 120 entries only. That'll be on LSR TV and CRN in December. Excited about this big opportunity with Power I. Back down to the pit lane, and Brett.
Yeah, we had a couple of trucks down here. James Vinning and a couple other guys were down here on pit lane. Dennis Moore and Kevin Smith as well. A little bit of pit lane exit drama, if you will. Also, Wesley, as those drivers were coming off of the pit road and coming back onto the track, there was a little bit of a hiccup there with the number 77 car of Tom Green. That driver ended up going nose first into the wall. It doesn't look like that driver appears to have too much much damage on that machine as he's back going straight forward in the other direction. But he currently has that number 55 of Dan West Jr., current race leader, hot on his tails to put him a lap down.
A lot of activity, a lot of drivers in the pit lane is man, real quickly you see Dan West Jr. playing blocker defensively on these trucks like the Napa machine, getting around him as they go back into that turn. Into turn 6 and 7.
Coming up on the finish line, going to be 15 laps to go when Dan West Jr. crosses the stripe. And Wesley, he has been the dominant truck here today in this one, as he crosses the stripe once again into number 55. 15 to go for Dan West Jr. Leads the series and wins, entering the playoffs, looking for another one here.
Dan West Jr., Paulison in second. John Brightsman third. Quickly moving up. Weston Gamble in the top 5. 15 to go here at the Glen.
These drivers just rolling along, trying to stay out of trouble. BJ Tidrick, you see him creeping up into number 72. The guy we expected to be a contender here tonight, kind of pinned a lap down right now due to some pit strategy. He's going to get his lap back under green, it would appear, here, as he has fresher tires than West Jr. Remember, on the one-stop strategy, but BJ gonna need quite a bit of help to be able to get up there now in the number 72. He's a guy you're gonna have to watch out for in the Tour, though, starting here on Sunday. Wesley, as he drives around the outside of West Jr. West just taking no chances, just letting him go there. Hey, you got the pressure tires, just go ahead and do your thing in that number 72. But BJ, another guy you're gonna want to watch for in the Tour. He's one of the admins of the series, one of the series owners of a big driving force in bringing that Tour to the iRacing series or realms, and it has been a lot of fun being a part of that. Can't wait for season 4.
Another big event that's coming up tomorrow night, the On the Rail Paints Fall Brawl All-Star Race. That'll be a good one. Then on Sunday, the Northwest Tour Super Late Models presented by Joe's Racing Products. That'll begin at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central, 7 Pacific on LSR TV and CRN. That'll be a good one. The opening race from USA International. And as we approach 14 to go, 13 to go now for the trucks here at Watkins Glen. Greg, you said that the last couple of practice sessions for the Northwest Super Late Model Tour have been quite eventful.
Absolutely, Wesley. It has been a lot of fun watching the Tour get ready for their season opener at USA International, the 3/4 mile oval that is no longer there in Lakeland, Florida. But we picked that one for our opener because that is a very, very similar track to one of our tracks here in the Northwest. My actual home track, Spokane County Raceway. It's closed down, has been for a couple years now, but that track very similar to Spokane County as another lap car gets out of the way of Dan West Jr. But we picked that one specifically for our season opener. Wesley, final practice yesterday for the Tour race. 43 drivers participated in that practice session, not counting myself, who turned about 50 laps or so, just trying to get a feel for what the setup was going to do, so I actually semi-know what I'm talking about up here on Sunday when talking about the setup. But we had 43 drivers participate in practice yesterday for final practice. I cannot wait for Sunday.
West, Paulison, Brightsman. West, Gamble, top 5. Look at the saw blade rundown. Final commercial break. Here at Watkins Glen, we will take you to the checkered flag Right now, Dan West Jr. trying to punch his ticket in the round of 12 to advance to the round of 8. With the West Bay Napa Auto Parts playoffs with the Northwest iRacing Truck Series, the finish from Watkins Glen when we return. Saw Blade top 5, never changed a thing. You saw it side by side. Dan West Jr., Stephen Paulison, Sean Brightsman, the Atlanta winner. He's locked into the round of 8. Devin West and Robert Gamble after his pit road hiccups currently in the top 5. Strategy, though, for Dan West Jr. Back down to the pit lane for an update with Brett.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's pretty much going to be able to make the distance. It looks like several drivers are going to be able to make the one-stop plan go out of it. Out of the 11 cars, or 11 trucks rather, that are still on the lead lap, only 3 of those trucks have come down to the pits twice, and I do believe that was all just to fix some damage or whatnot. So a lot of drivers taking the one-stop method. I do believe right now Dan West Jr. is pretty much in his own zip code. He's been putting down some pretty fast laps over the past couple of segments there, so the gap interval that I'm looking at here on the live timing and scoring between him and Paulison in second just keeps getting a little bit bigger and bigger, so it looks like Dan West Jr.'s truck gets a little bit faster as the run goes on for him, as the tires are pretty much coming to him just about now, it seems, as he's gotten faster and faster as this run goes on.
So my question, Greg, is he needing to hold back, not have such a big interval lead over Paulison, to worry about conserving fuel on the 55?
Maybe. I think he can afford to hold back a little bit because the gap is growing significantly now. It's up a few seconds now from what it was, so I think West can afford to save fuel here and there. But here's the problem with that is he actually is better on fuel than Paulison. He went 1 extra lap before coming down pit road, so if anyone has to save fuel, it would be Paulison in the 58 because he's 1 lap negative of what West Jr. is.
Under 10 laps to go now, as Dan West Jr. is the man out in front. Stephen Paulison in second. John Brightsman third. Second, third, and fourth, right in the crosshairs of one another, gentlemen. But honestly, Paulison still losing ground to Dan West Jr., almost a 6-second interval as he works his way back down the straightaway, coming to the line, and 8 to go this time by.
So trying to just seal the deal and just cruise here for the next 8 laps. Dan West Jr. Hard to believe this would be his first road course win of the season in either division, but it would. And he would be the first driver not named Sean Brightsman to win a truck race on the road course. That shows you just how dominant he's today and just how dominant Sean Brightsman has been in this situation all season. Brightsman is in third. He is closing, but I don't know if he has enough time, Wesley, as they're winding down. He needs West to make a mistake. Boy, West almost made a mistake there at the bus stop there. Was able to keep it together, though. But, man, he has just been so strong in this West Family Racing Chevy Silverado.
John Brightsman closing in on Paulison very quickly. Cut the gap by almost 10 seconds in 2 laps in truck number 46. And he is there on Paulison's back door as they work their way down in to turn number 6 and 7. Chris White closing in on him as well. Chris White a lap down in 12th position. Not a good run for that driver tonight.
Only part-time in the truck series, Wesley. Playoff driver in the Cup series, 2 wins, but only limited starts in the truck series has rendered him outside of the playoffs, and Watkins Glen not going his way.
Seven to go. And the drivers will now prepare for next week in the playoffs at Richmond. 200 laps at Richmond Raceway next Thursday night. The next round, round number 3 of the West Bay Napa Auto Parts playoffs, round of 12. Then they go back to Charlotte. And then it's on to the round of 8 at Iowa. Then they take off for a nice long Thanksgiving break, first week of December as well. Then it's on to Michigan, New Hampshire, off for the Christmas holidays, and then we move into 2021. And then those final 2 races at Texas and the final at Phoenix. All of that coming up on the playoff run for the championship for the Northwest iRacing Truck Series and the West Bay Napa Auto Parts playoffs on LSR TV and CRN. And we are seeing sheer domination by truck number 55. There's Brightsman. He won at Atlanta. He's right now comfortable in 3rd. But there's the man, Paulison. He's in 2nd, trying to run down Dan West Jr. I just don't think he has enough time, and there he is in 55.
Yeah, he's closed it in a little bit, but I still, Wesley, think it's not going to be enough. There's going to be 5 laps to go in this one for Dan West Jr. in the 55. I think this one, all he's got to do now is just keep it clean for 5 more laps.
Five laps to go. Picking them off one by one. Other truck's going to go a lap down. Trying to run down Tidrick, actually. And he just put him a lap down in the 72. Stephen O'Hare, the next one on the list for Dan West Jr. in the 41. As they work their way down what they call the backstretch here, uphill. Working through the bus stop. The inner loop. Perfect precision. Getting through it with no problems. Rumble strips helping him along the way. Into the carousel. Into what would be the entrance of turns 5 and 6. In what would be the boot. But the boot is not being used here for this race. Noticing Paulison, by the way, aerial coverage always presented by All-American Pools. But we're noticing, Greg, that Paulison starting to knock off that interval to Dan West Jr. with 5 to go, 4 to go this time by off turn 8.
Took 7/10 off of it last time by. Let's see what it is this time at the stripe. It was 4.8 seconds. last time at the line. As West goes into turn number 1, Paulson crosses the line. The margin grows back just a little bit. So West Jr. stabling things out. I think that may have been because West was in traffic at just the key part there.
Four to go. And it seems like as soon as West begins to slip and allows Paulson to reel him in, quickly he comes back to the whip and runs him back down. And he increases the interval as well. It's like West knows he's coming, but then he'll quickly go back to speed, if you will, Greg, in 55 and just power away from everybody. And you got to wonder, trying to get through these lap trucks, could it help Paulson? But it's not.
Yeah, West just has to catch a lap truck in the wrong spot to allow Paulson to get back up there. But so far, West has just done a nice job of keeping it to where he's able to catch him at the correct spot. Just a couple laps to go now. I believe we're working 3 laps to go. 10 trucks on the lead lap. Next up for West Junior will be Stephen O'Hare, in the number 41, but I don't think West has enough time to get up there to him.
Down the home stretch, 3 to go. Brett Rolls, you have an update on pit road.
Yeah, this involves 2 more of your playoff drivers. James Vinning and Corey Walters, both of them drivers have taken their truck pit side here a couple of laps ago. So both of those playoff drivers, it looks like they're going to pack it up early at Watkins Glen, salvage what little efforts that they could make here tonight, and regroup for next week's short course racing.
Tough break for James Vining, the Catman, in the 333, as well as Walters. By the way, tickets and registration is available now for the official iRacing Power I Midget Nationals. That will be December 11th and 12th. It'll be broadcast on LSIR TV right here and as well on audio for CRN Sports, December 11th and 12th.
2 laps to go here at the Glen for Dan West Jr. and a dominating performance here tonight in upstate New York. And this is big for West because if he can hold on, he will get that green bar against his name, which will mean locked into the round of 8.
Working that way through the bus stop. 2 remaining. Going to be working his way into turn number 6 and 7, around to turn number 8, as he makes his way to where the boot would be. The exit of the boot will be where they turn off right here. And now he works his way off the final turn. This time by, he'll see the white linen come up in the air over the flag stand. We call it the CRN. 1 to go. Final lap for Dan West Jr. Trying to join Sean Brightsman to advance into the round of 8. He's in the turn 90-degree angle for the final time, Greg Rance.
Trying to bring it home and get through the round of 8. He leads the series in wins here this year. What a phenomenal job he's done all day. And how big is this going to be, because he gets the win over his Team LSR TV teammate Sean Brightsman, provided he gets through this final lap with no issues.
No issues indeed. Through the bus stop, through the carousel, into these final corners. He will join Sean Brightsman, if he has no other problems, down the straightaway for the final time. Through the carousel into turns number 6 and 7. He could honestly coaster from here. Almost a 6-second interval. He will advance into the round of 8. In round 2 of the round of 12. from Watkins Glen for the West Bay Napa Auto Parts Playoffs. 55, Dan West Jr. wins at the Glen. Second spot going to Stephen Paulison. Third, as they work their way through the rest of the rundown of the race. What a run. Sean Brightsman, third place. Robert Gamble will cross the line and finish in fourth. Fifth to Devin West. Or for the man right there, his father, Dan West Jr. He will celebrate Greg as the winner here tonight at Watkins Glen and punches his ticket to the round of 8 next in the playoffs of the West Bay Napa Auto Parts Truck Series.
And no better way for him to end it here tonight with that win, because you could not ask for a more perfect run by Dan West Jr. in that number 55. Absolutely dominating performance for him. Wesley, in real life, he was a dirt racer. So to be able to go out and do that on a road course as the wrecking in front of him after the fact, trying to come by and take the checker flag, they were still battling it out there at the end. So poor position there as Dennis Moore and Ryan Maines having an altercation there, as West going to come down and finish her off with a burnout here on the front stretch. A dominating performance, Wesley. He's got it locked up and burning it down, and there's the trademark celebration.
The proverbial demolition derby, if you will. After they take the checkered flag, a lot of the team members then decide to tear them up. Let's take a look at your sawblade.com unofficial results, round 2. In the round of 12 for the West Bay Napa Auto Parts Playoffs for the Northwest iRacing Truck Series. Dan West Jr. The interval back at 3.5 seconds for Stephen Paulison. Simply ran out of time. Good run for the 58, though. Sean Brightsman, Atlanta winner. He will advance into the round of 8 already. He'll finish third here tonight. Robert Gamble fourth. Devin West will finish fifth. Tyler King, Jeff Stabnow, after problems on the initial start, he'll finish seventh. William Fletcher, Caden Anderson, and Stephen O'Hare, your top 10.
Those are your 10 cars on the lead lap. Chris White going to be the first truck one lap down in 11. Started 11, so a lot of 11s for White tonight. Kevin Smith keeps it clean for a 12th place finish. Wayne Rick, John Ottenbacher, your car or trucks one lap down. BJ Tidrick 2 laps down, not the way he wanted his night to go. Roy Grande 16th, Dennis Moore 17th, Tom Green, Ray Fournier, Ryan Maines rounding out your top 20, Wesley.
And the rest of the rundown includes James Vining, Corey Walters, Scott Hutchinson, Frank Harris, Dan Lowther, bad luck at the get-go, and Carl Burke also with a disappointing run as well in 53 right off the start. When it's all said and done, Dan West Jr. winning here at the Glen. By the way, he is the second driver tonight on our broadcast coverage on LSR TV, and those listening at wearecrn.com for CRN Sports audio coverage of the voice of live sim racing to win from the pole. Garrett Maines did it in the trucks for the Swag PMI Truck Series at Rockingham, and now Dan West Jr. winning from the pole here for the Northwest iRacing Truck Series at Watkins Glen. Clan War Servers post-race wrap-up coming up, and we'll wrap things up from Watkins Glen. Greg, I'll let you say your closing remarks because I know you got to go from here, but what a good show. It's on next week to Richmond.
Looking forward to short track racing next week, Wesley. Right in my wheelhouse, but I love to watch every weekend. I love to be on the call for short track. Can't wait to get to Richmond next week and see if Brightsman or West can keep the stranglehold going, or if we see another driver lock themselves in.
On to the next one, Richmond next week. Coming up, Clan War Servers post-race wrap-up, and we'll wrap it up here from Watkins Glen. Gamers hosting gamers worldwide. It is time for the Clan Wars servers post-race wrap-up here at Watkins Glen International. I'm Wesley Outland. Greg Rentz has already stepped off for the evening. Done for the night. And joining me now in the broadcast booth is Brett Rolls. We're going to talk to our top 3 drivers again. Dan West Jr. punches his ticket in the West Bay Napa Auto Parts Truck Playoffs for the Northwest iRacing Truck Series. Joining Sean Brightsman. Moving on to the round of 8. Put a green bar on his scoring ticker next week at Richmond officially. And now we'll talk to our top 3 finishers. We'll talk to Dan West Jr. in a moment. But first, the Atlanta winner 2 weeks ago. Sean Brightsman, 3rd here tonight. A good run for you, but I have to say there had to have been a lot of comfort knowing that, and less stress knowing that whatever happened here at Watkins Glen, I call it a wild card, you survive it and you advance into the next round and you take 3rd here tonight. Your take on the race?
It was a great race. I mean, the biggest issue for me just was the start. When Jeff got over there on the start and kind of slid through the grass there, I just lost way too many positions to kind of hold a decent strategy. So the LSR TV Toyota Tundra, it had a lot of speed, just wasn't able to make the moves to make it last and get around those guys.
Brett Rolls.
Now, I had noticed on the pit lane strategy, or in the live timing and scoring and everything, it had you down as pitting around lap 8. Was that due to like maybe some early race damage that may have been caused off that initial start and that little bit of a bobble and stack up that you guys had?
Kind of. It was more of a strategy call. I had ran a couple runs and was only getting about 26 laps of fuel runs. So I was in the 2-stop strategy. So I figured 8 laps in or so, I'll top off and then run that. And then towards the end, get new tires and try to make a charge.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's your 3rd place finisher. Already locked into the round of 8. Sean Brightsman, any sponsors you want to thank, man?
I got to thank LSR TV, Central Welding Supply, Bright's Boutique. Check out Bright's Boutique. You got a girlfriend, wife. Got custom handmade clay earrings, figurines, things like that. It's at etsy.com/shop/Bright's Boutique. Thanks, guys.
On to Richmond next week is Sean Brightsman in 46. Again, he already advances into the round of 8. Coming up, round 3 for round of 12 at Richmond. Joining us now will be the driver that finished in the runner-up spot, the penultimate position, the number 58 machine, Stephen Paulison. Stephen, a good run for you, bud. Man, I thought you were coming to get that win from Dan West Jr. You just simply ran out of time.
Oh yeah, he was the first stint. Well, first of all, there's a crazy start, and the first 2, I guess that was Dan and Sean, who was ahead, didn't quite get a good start, and I thought for a moment, but I went ahead and went in between them. So it was going to be a rough corner anyway, and then all hell broke loose, and I let Jeff slide by in front of me, and luckily didn't get run over, and then took off and was in 2nd, so that was kind of nice. And Dan just kind of hung out there ahead of us. Me and Robert Gambo kind of played wingman, and we sort of were gapping the field a little bit and trying to keep up with Dan. So just kind of got into the groove.
Steve, towards the end of the race there, with about 7 to 8 laps to go, we noticed, you significantly cut down the gap there towards Dan West Jr.'s back bumper. Was that more so towards the lap cars that you guys endured towards the end of the race, or did your did you just happen to find a lane that worked really well with your truck?
I think I was pretty good on the long runs. I didn't really recognize catching up to Dan because the lap traffic was being real good, but I did hit him just in kind of tough places. So if I was catching up, I'd lose it again. And not because anything they did, just sometimes a little hard to pass on old tires and such. And I definitely didn't want to wreck out. So I don't know if I was faster than him at the end. I think in the first stint, we were keeping up with him at the, before the first pit stop.
Stephen Paulus, I know you're one of the drivers that are in the round of 12 in the playoffs. Is there a different strategy when you're trying to run for points or running to get in the points needed to try to advance if you can't get the win? Was that, where you feel like you finished tonight being in second?
Oh, yeah, I'm happy to have this habit of second 2 weeks in a row and hope I can keep on podiums. But, I've never won a race in this, so obviously there's always a strategy to just finish as high as possible.
Well, let's let you go, buddy. Before we do, thank your sponsors on Truck 58.
Well, certainly the West Bay Napa Auto Parts and Tom Green from them. And want to thank Da Vinci Racing and especially Robert Gamble, kind of played wingman there for the first stint until he had a problem in the pit, and also had everything to do with him and Tom getting the setups. So thank them a lot and hope for them to do better next time.
Stephen Paulison, again, runner-up here tonight. A good run 2 times in the top 3 podium in the playoff rounds of 12. He'll move on to Richmond to try to look for that first series win and to punch his ticket into the round of 8 from there. Finally, down to victory lane from the pole, truck number 55. Everything ran perfect for this man. He was in the number 2 seed, and now he will join Sean Breitzman in the West Bay Napa Auto Parts playoffs for the Northwest iRacing Truck Series round of 8 when it begins after Richmond. Dan West Jr., Truck 55, congratulations, bud. A flawless night for you. Talk about it.
Thanks, guys. It went pretty good. I was able to stay out of trouble getting into one. Looked in the mirror, and unfortunately, some guys had some issues that I think really affected the race. But first, I just like to thank my guys from LSR TV. The teammates, they if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. They have taught me how to get around this place and helped me with setups, and so that obviously gave me a pretty good truck to get out front and be conservative. And I just tried to keep that 2-second gap. And as you guys could see, as soon as he started coming in on me, I'd pick up the pace a little bit and trying to watch fuel mileage too. So fortunately, it was just a good night. It was just a flawless night, and a little luck played into that too.
Dan, we noticed, this race was just pure domination, like Wesley had pointed out previously throughout the night. Are you, more comfortable at a track like Watkins Glen versus taking the trucks to somewhere like the Daytona road course or Sonoma or, a different type of road course, other than, traditional upstate New York, Watkins Glen style racing?
Road courses like Watkins Glens are a lot more comfortable for me because, like, if you go to the Roval, it seems to me it's not normal road course racing. So is that the question you're asking? I mean, that's so Watkins Glen is a little more comfortable for me because it seems like more of a true road course.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was just wondering, your take on the comparison versus, the Roval having like chicanes and, much more tighter compact racing versus what you would get at, Watkins Glen being, more, throttle dependent and more sweeping with corners and whatnot as certain aspects of the track go.
Yeah, I think with road course racing, I do okay. So I think this type of track is a little more forgiving for a guy like me. If you take the stop and go tracks, those are where Sean really shine. And the more of a flat, like I say, stop and go. And I tend to overdrive the truck too much. Where a track like this, I feel like it's got the banking and can help me along. So yeah, I'd say I'd take one of these over like a regular, like the Roval any day.
Dan West, final question for me, and you can also thank your sponsors as well in Segway. you said you were trying to conserve fuel. Was there a worry that you possibly might have ran out of fuel before the checkered flag?
I wasn't worried about the second half. First half is what I was trying to get to. I was trying to get as much as I could because I was planning on doing a one stop. But we were finding out that, like Sean said, it was 26 laps and it was kind of max laps that we could get. So obviously we weren't be able to make it. But as I was going on, I was noticing I was able to short shift and gain quite a bit of time. So the second half I wasn't worried at all. That wasn't even an issue. I had plenty of fuel.
All right, buddy. Thank your sponsors. Congratulations on to Richmond.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to thank West Bay Napa Auto Parts for sponsoring the series. LSR TV, you guys up there do awesome. Everybody out there that's watching, I appreciate your time. And Northwest Racing, all the admins, Sean and Jeff and those guys behind the scene. Behind the scene, you guys don't realize what they're really doing back there, but they're doing a lot more than sometimes racing. So we're all out here to have fun, but those guys seem like they have a second job, and we appreciate what they do. Thank you.
Dan West Jr. punches his ticket in the round of 12 to advance to the round of 8. And as he moves to the short track race of Richmond, he has no worries of the craziness that will happen with short track next week. And right now, Sean Brightsman, Dan West Jr., the number 1 and 2 seeds as they advance into Richmond next week. Well, that'll wrap up our Clan Wars Servers post-race wrap-up. Clan Wars Servers, again, is the official communications partner of Live Sim Racing. Brett Rolls, your final thoughts here from the Glen. Great job working the pit lane, and we'll get ready for Richmond next week.
Yeah, I absolutely love Watkins Glen. It's one of my favorite course tracks out there. Honestly, I'd have to say it's probably one of my favorite tracks to visit on the NASCAR series in general, with it being my home track. I wish I could have been out there with the guys. I always love coming out and racing at this track. But honestly, I think it was a pretty good race. Very minimal mistakes as far as driver error, a little bit of contact there in the beginning, but it actually kind of played a little bit of a wild card factor for some playoff drivers. So a little bit of extra drama as far as the points goes, just to spice things up a little bit. But overall, I think this was a pretty good race.
Definitely a good show, and again, it is on to Richmond next week. By the way, quick reminder, sometime this week or on Monday, the brand new livesimracing.com website will be unveiled. Registration is now officially available to get your tickets and sign up for registration for 120 entries of the inaugural LSR TV CRN Sports coverage of the iRacing Power I Midget Invitationals. That event coming up in December 11th and 12th. And again, for the drivers of the West Bay Napa Auto Parts Cup Series, they'll be in action on the road course right here at the Glen on Monday night, 11:15 Eastern Time. And again, the trucks will be back in action for round 3 of the playoffs at Richmond next Thursday. Next broadcast coverage on LSR TV and CRN Sports is tomorrow night. It is the On the Rail Paints Fall Brawl All-Star Race. 100 laps. The best drivers from the Legends and Supers will now battle it out for 100 laps for All-Star bragging rights. We'll have coverage tomorrow night, 8:15 Eastern Time on LSR TV and on the Voice of Sim Racing, LSR TV and CRN Sports. For Greg Rentz on the pit lane, Brett Rolls. For our producer, of course, as always, Charles Wooten. I'm Wesley Outland. Thanks for joining us for coverage from Watkins Glen. Dan West Jr. advances in the West Bay Napa Auto Parts playoffs for the Truck Series. And next Thursday, it's on to Richmond. God bless you all. Hey, don't forget to go out and vote on Tuesday. And please keep on praying for America.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSR TV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of 52 Media LLC and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. LSR TV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.